Thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, in all my years of conquest, photos and videos, it's always been personal. But this channel right here, I really enjoy it. Very, very much. So, have faith, true believer. I have faith in the Spider-Man franchise. I'm not obviously too amped about the news. Most people aren't. I'm gonna have to shut that window in a second. That dog won't shut up. But it really is sad to say. I mean, I'm sure everyone who's watching this channel knows about the current updates, which is that there really aren't any no updates. Fuck Sony for taking Spidey back. I mean, yeah, it sucks, dude. It sucks. Hey, dude, dig the channel. I really appreciate that. I really dig the fact that you guys dig my videos because I really like making them. I really like making MCU Exchange videos. Unfortunately, they do not pay the bills at the moment, so I have to focus on other stuff. And I do have another channel. If you guys are interested in like tech videos or whatever, I have a personal channel. If you like tech reviews, phones, headphones, tablets, all that good stuff, you can check that out. I also work for 9 to 5 Mac, which is like the biggest Apple news site ever. But anyway, enough of the plugs. Yeah, so I mean, as far as right now, there aren't any concrete updates as far as, wow, all these freaking compliments, dude. This is great. This is great. Thank you, Terry. I hope they make a Batman Beyond movie. There aren't really any updates at the moment regarding the Spider-Man character and where his place is going to be. I think they're trying to work something out because obviously nobody wants Spider-Man back at Sony. They want it with MCU. We saw that everybody's seen that interview where Feige says that Spider-Man is essentially supposed to lead us into phase 4 and beyond. He's going to be like the forefront of the MCU. All those lines in Far From Home, like Happy Hogan's line where he's like, Tony didn't do this if he didn't think he wouldn't have done what he did if he didn't think you were going to be there after he was gone. Spider-Man is meant to be in the MCU. This is all about money. This is all about ego. This is all about just corporate greed and whatnot. I get that Sony, they're feeling like their balls are a little big because of the success that the MCU Spider-Man has had. Overall, this is the most critically and financially successful Spider-Man we've ever had in cinema. No coincidence that this happened once he was paired with MCU characters. It's in Disney and Sony's best interest to work it out. They will work it out, and then we, the audience, will back up the money, truck to their doors again. Yes, I mean, everything was fine. Everybody was flying to theaters to see Civil War, mostly because there's Spider-Man in the freaking movie. Besides the fact that you have Iron Man and Cap fighting for like 20 minutes on film, you had Spider-Man in the movie. If they were going to take Spidey out of the MCU, then they should have gave him a heroic death like Black Widow or Tony. They didn't give him a death because they didn't think this was going to happen. Spider-Man has been the flagship character in the comics for decades. He belongs in the MCU. Everything you're saying is 100% accurate. Sony needs to give the rights back to Marvel. That is never going to happen. This is, as we've seen, I'm sure you guys have seen the headlines. Far From Home is Sony's most successful film ever, like, period. Honestly, they'd be pretty stupid to give it away back to Disney. As much as it truly belongs with Disney, they'd be idiots to give that franchise away. This is practically their lifeline in terms of the movie side of the business, But People just want more and more and more and more money. So this is what happens when adjust my webcam a little bit. This is what happens when that's all you care about. You know? Yeah, it's successful because of the MCU, but still, Sony basically took all of that money. I think Disney got like 5% of like the first weekend or whatever. And Sony, did I say Disney or Sony? Disney got 5% of like the first weekend or whatever, and then Sony got all of that, basically $1 billion plus. They should have known that if there was even a possibility of Sony taking Spider-Man back after the deal, that it's their best bet to give him heroic death rather than a cliffhanger ending. Yeah, that's crazy. Like the way they left off Spider-Man 2 is just like it makes no sense that they thought this was coming. Or maybe they did, and they did this intentionally. Because when you think about it, Kevin Feige, what his angle could have been is just the producers just weave in and embed and integrate so much of the MCU into Spider-Man that it would be basically idiotic to remove him, and it would make no sense. You have nothing. They really have nothing to work with taking Spider-Man out of the MCU. Where is his suit from now? What happened to Edith? Mysterio, how are they going to change that character? The Avengers base. Like, he is such an MCU Spider-Man, it's crazy. He's not like really standalone at all. He's probably the most integrated Marvel character right now in terms of like the relationship with the general universe, you know? Sony has no reason to send it to give up Spider-Man. Yeah, of course. I know, but if another company like Apple buys Sony, everyone keeps talking about Apple buying Sony. I don't know why that's a thing. Can Apple afford it? Yes, but I don't know why. Or I don't know. Unless there's like concrete rumors I have been missing out on. I work for an Apple site, and I've heard nothing about them purchasing Sony. That's wishful thinking to me. Red pill type thinking. No, I mean, just like think about it, right? The deal once the deal ends, that means both universes basically have to completely like unacknowledge everything. So if there are no MCU elements of Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3, they're going to have to rework so much shit. It's just like, and then, you would be confident that they could do a good job if they had like a great creative team. And that's not true because they hire pretty freaking good talent for these films. I think it's really just Avi Arad just ruining everything from a creative standpoint. Also something to consider. If I was Tom Rothman, head of Sony Pictures, I might think that it's in Sony's best interest and maybe the movie industry to walk away from any deal with Disney. Continue to gobble up the market and share properties and rival companies. That is true. That is true. Disney is almost like a monopoly in the entertainment industry. But I mean, they're not really owning anything, and the deal that they had before didn't even give them that much money. They didn't profit that much, at least from the box office. Only positive I can think of is that we can get a live action Spider-Verse with Sony and Venom. Yeah, but it's like, does it matter when there's a really strong chance it could just be a bad film? I'd rather have it done well than just done, period. Have you heard the recent news about the new deal that they are trying to sign? Basically, Sony wants Spider-Man both in Spider-Verse and MCU. That way, both parties will benefit from it. Huh. I haven't heard that one. I've been pretty much seeing like small little tidbit updates every day. But that could be a decent compromise. And it would allow for like some strong diversity in terms of like the type of Spider-Man films we get. Marvel should make a comic explaining what happened after Far From Home. That's such like a defeat. Like it's just like that's so like it's so sad. That'd be so sad to do. It's not fair to Tom Holland. He's devoted his career to this franchise. Yes, but Tom Holland is a big boy, and I'm sure he had to understand. I'm sure it was explicitly explained to him that before he signed that contract, that he belongs to Sony. Marvel's creative team is the one that got him the job, but in terms of who his checks come from, in terms of who controls his place as a character, that's always been Sony. If you think about it, the only people that had a relationship with Peter are Happy and Tony. That is kind of true. I mean, Pepper knows him a little bit. I mean, he was hanging out with the Guardians of the Galaxy for some hours on Titan, so he's pretty chill with them probably. He was fighting alongside Black Panther, War Machine, and Vision, and Black Widow. So Black Mario. I don't know what that means. Yeah, careful if it's windy, bro. You could lose your trash. I just hope they make deals with Spider can meet up for the first time in live action. Yeah, I mean that's what we want. That's what we want. That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants. And Doctor Strange. Yeah. Read that Marvel wanted Ace of Butterfield. Think Sony vouched for Tom. Read that Marvel wanted Ace of Butterfield. Sony vouched for Tom. I don't think that's true because you know what? This is a true a publicized story. Chris Hemsworth put in a call for Tom Holland basically because they had done a movie together. Chris put in a call for Tom to give him the push, and he screen tested very very well with RDJ and Chris Evans. They both said that. So I mean, as far as what I know, it was more of the Disney camp that wanted him in. I know nothing about Ace of Butterfield in terms of how close he was. I know nothing about that. I don't think he's ever even addressed it, at least from what I know. So, question for you guys. What would you like to see them do with Spider-Man 3 now that the MCU is not going to be involved? As of now. Yeah, Venom and Carnage. It's just my problem is that I did not personally like Venom at all. I think it was honestly a pretty bad movie, a waste of a great cast, and a lot of money. But it made a lot of money, so it's getting a sequel. I mean, that post-credit scene with Woody Harrelson with the Wendy's mascot wig on, that was quite possibly one of the grossest things I've ever seen. I don't have any plates. They're all in the sink. Venom 2 will be better. Why do you think Venom 2 will be better? Why do you think that? Incorporate more of the Spider family. Would love to see a live-action Spider-Gwen. Yeah, I mean, might as well. I feel like that's really the only direction to take is go full ham on Spider-Verse because you don't have any MCU stuff, right? There was a bunch of Craven Easter eggs in Morbius set pictures. Possibly, maybe we're going to have Craven in the MCU soon. I mean, in the Spider-Man movie soon. Because they got Woody playing as Carnage. That's not a good excuse. Did you see that wig? I don't care how good his acting is. If he has to have that wig on for the entire film, I'm not going to see Venom. I don't care. So if I understand this correctly, Sony's arrangement is that they have to release Spider-Man films every 3 years Otherwise, the rights revert back to Marvel Studios. I don't remember if it was 3 years. I know Fantastic Four over at Fox, they had a deal of 7 years. I don't know if it's 3 for Sony, but that would make sense because we basically have had. Well, no. Spider-Man 3 came out in like, what, 2007? Yeah, Spider-Man 3 came out in 2007. The Amazing Spider-Man came out in 2012. That's obviously more than 3 years. So that can't be the case because otherwise Marvel would have got it back. What do you think the odds of a new deal being worked out? In terms of like a percentage rate, I'm gonna go like 40% in terms of it working out, at least before Spider-Man 3. I'm think they'll work something out in the future, but as of like them clutching it before Spider-Man 3 starts production, I give that a 40%. Yeah, there is still a chance. But then I hope they already had an MCU version of Spider-Man 3 ready to go, because otherwise they're gonna have to fucking rush the shit out of it so they can begin production, and the plot's gonna be bad. I think it's 5 years. Yeah, that makes more sense. I think the only reason Venom had made so much money is because people wanted to keep Spidey in the MCU, and some people. I never went to go see Venom. I don't know anyone who has, because they wanted to support Spider-Man in the MCU. That doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know. That's really funny to have a mindset like that. They've got their money. They're going to make their money. Going to see Venom does not reflect on Tom Holland. They are going to make those. They are going to keep making those movies. I don't think that Sony wants to lose the hype that Spider-Man gets from the MCU. If they pull him out of it, they will not make that kind of money. Yeah, but if the average moviegoer doesn't know that he was pulled, then they'll still make money on it. I think Sony has to be in production of a Spider-Man movie, not exactly releasing it. Oh, in production of one every 3 years? That makes more sense. I didn't see Venom. I did watch Spider-Verse a lot, though. Yeah, you don't need to see Venom. You're honestly not missing anything. You're really not. The trailer is all you need to see. If Sony do make Spider-Man 3 non-MCU canon and it fails and they revert him back to Marvel, will the MCU make Spider-Man 3 again? Wait. Ignoring whatever Sony made? No. Making a second Spider-Man 3? No. That would be crazy, but no, that's never going to happen. You're going to see Venom that supports Spidey out of the MCU even more. Yeah, so I'm sure they're going to throw in all kinds of Spider-Man Easter eggs into the Venom movie once that starts shooting. John Campio was promoting it on his channel. I know that guy. Support Venom to keep Sony from taking Spidey back. Huh. That's interesting. I never heard about that. That is interesting. Spider-Man 2 was over 10 years ago. And Spider-Verse was an animated movie. Animated movies are not really hard to do well, at least from like a plot standpoint. Yeah, I have zero hype for Morbius. I do not care. Every time I hear about it, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, that's happening. When I first heard that was announced, like a Morbius film starring Jared Leto, I'm like, what? I'm like, that's not coming out. That's just gonna get shelved like Silver Sable or whatever. But no, it actually started production and finished production. And it is now going to come out. The rumor I heard is that Kevin Feige did some work on Venom, not Spider-Verse, but Venom. Kind of just like behind the scenes, like a friendly favor. So I heard about this whole Tom Holland shoot for Venom. Even though the source comes from someone who I would consider like supposed to be credible, I guess. I don't know. That seems really weird. Why would Disney demand Sony to take it out? Why would they do that? Can they even do that? Sony owns the character. So why would he not be allowed to have a scene in their film? I can get why they would not want that to happen, but like how could they tell Sony to basically change their movie? Are you optimistic? And how would they not know that it was gonna be filmed before it got filmed? Are you optimistic or skeptical on Marvel Phase 4? I'm very optimistic. I'm beyond hyped for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Every new detail I hear on Scarlet Witch in on WandaVision just makes me more and more excited. I am so hyped for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be great. And I'm on in the. I think Shang-Chi will probably be good too. Um, I think Eternals will probably be interesting for sure. And everything else, I'm just like, thumbs up. I think Phase 4 is going to be great. Yes, we don't have RDJ anymore. We don't have Evans anymore. This might be our last phase with Chris Hemsworth. Who knows? But I think they're taking a lot of steps in the right direction. And this Spider-Man stuff really kind of like soured Phase 4 for me a little bit, knowing that he's basically not going to be a part of it in any substantial way as of now. But I think they're in the right direction. I think they're listening to what the fans want. They're doing really solid with castings, like the guy who they got to do U.S. agent in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Really good casting. I think the pressure is much more on Sony than Disney because, according to the media, the backlash with the fandom is intensive. Yeah, of course. Everybody's like on the screw Sony side right now. Nobody's really faulting Disney. Of course, they're both in the wrong, but nobody's really faulting Disney in terms of like um, a person with an average level of knowledge on the situation. You hear Marvel announce a Night Monkey movie, yeah, it's going to be great. They do not have him removed. They just asked them to remove the scene. I don't know. I just don't get like a feeling of truth here when I hear that rumor. It just doesn't seem legit to me. Hope they do House of M and WandaVision. Maybe like an MCU like smaller scale version of it. Well, no, they can't do that. I don't think so. I don't think the plot of WandaVision is going to be really anything like House of M. Not really. Think Hulk will make an appearance in She-Hulk? Of course. Of course. It would be wrong not to. And Mark Ruffalo isn't that expensive for Disney, so they can afford to bring him on, at least for an episode or two. When does the Hawkeye TV show release? Hawkeye TV show releases in 2021. I think it's the second to last Phase 4 project. The Ghost Rider and Hellstorm series are going to fail. Oh yeah, those are done. Those are dead on arrival. The least hyped I am about Shang-Chi. Literally, who cares about that movie? I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of martial arts movies. So basically getting that within the MCU and involving, finally basically showing us the real 10 rings, that's kind of exciting for me. I don't know. I'm not familiar with, I forgot his name. Well, I can't pronounce it. It starts with an S. The main actor's name. I'm not familiar with any of his other work. So it's not like they have star power riding on this. They really have nothing to go by except the Marvel Studios movie tag at the beginning, at the top of every logo, because so people will know. Because otherwise, yeah, who knows anything about Shang-Chi? Spider-Man was not listed in Phase 4, so they have at least a year to make a deal to bring him back. They kind of have less than a year because Sony's thing is Spider-Man movie every 2 years. So if they're trying to maintain that pace, then they have to come up with a deal before the end of the year. Spider-Man was not listed. Yeah, I don't buy that rumor either. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, and it's like if Tom Holland, like that's weird. That's so weird. It just doesn't seem real to me. Yeah, I just get that gut feeling, Shang-Chi is a goat. In Avengers, he would literally pick up a ball of fire and blinding some guy. He'd channel dead ancestors for the power of the best hand. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, it depends on how mystical they get with it, but yeah, I think it's going to be really dope. Wanda is going to intrude mutants and quote her favorite line with a twist. No more mutants, she'll say. Let there be mutants. Nah, I don't think they're doing House of M. I think there's a lot of Nightmare Realm stuff going on. So they can tie it into Doctor Strange. I'm curious why Universal hasn't made a Hulk film since The Incredible Hulk, since they own the film rights. Because now we've got a fan favorite, Mark Ruffalo. In Hulk films, I don't know. Hulk films are just very hard to do. Like, so just because the way his character is, I think the approach they took, basically giving Hulk an arc throughout Ragnarok to Endgame, I think that was the best thing they could have done for his character. They gave Hulk plenty of moments to shine. Channel the Iron Fist on the same guy who used both fists. Going back to today's themes. Yeah. Yeah. Shang-Chi, he's a pretty cool character in the comics. I think he's gonna be dope. And the Asian demographic, obviously, they're gonna flood the theaters for this. Yeah, they're doing a She-Hulk TV show. Yeah. It's different with chicks, It's the old saying. Plus, I don't know. I think Hulk is kind of at a point in terms of his character where there just isn't much left for him, as far as like developing his own story. He's kind of like made it full circle, I think. Who do you think they should cast? Now, that's a good question. I'm sure they're going to want somebody on the younger side. Probably like less, like, not 40, like under 40. That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe can Sierra Williams act? Serena Williams, sorry, not Sierra. They really did my boy Hulk bad in a game. Yeah, I mean, he didn't really get his moment. It's funny. This reminds me of that fake trailer description where there's apparently Hulk. The end tag of a trailer is apparently Hulk training a facility saying my rematch is coming or some stupid shit like that. That was really funny. I think for WandaVision, it's going to be all in her own reality, which will cause problems in the multiverse, leading directly into Doctor Strange 2. Agreed. I think based on the poster, I think what's going to happen is she's going to construct this reality for herself. And then basically, Monica Rambeau, Kat Dennings' character, and Randall Park's character, they're just going to somehow end up in the mix. Betty Ross, Rick Jones, Red Hulk. I think Betty's done. I don't really care about Betty. The Incredible Hulk did not make me care about Betty. And do you think a fan favorite Enchantress will be in Thor and Love and Thunder? Enchantress is a really big Thor character, and I'm honestly surprised they've never touched upon her in the MCU at all. I think if there's any opportunity to do it, it would be Love and Thunder in Phase 4, No one seems to be talking about the ending of Far From Home. The scene with the scrolls. Where would that lead? Sword, dude. At least that's what everybody thinks. That's the most plausible to me. What's your take on the Avengers video game coming out next year? I'm a bit disappointed with the design. of the characters. But if they have basically skins for all the characters, that'll make up for it easily. The combat, from what I've seen, looks pretty good. I'm gonna buy it for sure. I have no problem spending $60 on a game. I don't buy games like that very often, and I pretty much only buy big story-based games. So like Uncharted, the Arkham games. I bought Spider-Man and beat that, so I'm gonna cop it for sure. I'm gonna pick it up. Personally, I'd like to see Wanda go evil. She lost everything: her home, her brother, her boyfriend, yeah, her Wu-Tang. She should lose control and have Doctor Strange try to take her down, and Doctor Strange too. We saw Scarlet Witch as a villain, right? In Age of Ultron, I like her better as a hero. I just think she does better in that role. The same way some people think Bucky was more interesting as a villain. As opposed to when he's a good guy. That Spider-Man game was wonderful. Yeah, it was pretty good. I still think Arkham holds the crown in terms of the best superhero story-based game, but Spider-Man was good. It was pretty good. How I've been doing these days? I'm pretty good. I'm just really busy. It was actually my birthday like 2 days ago. But other than that, I'm just pretty busy working on videos and whatnot. So you see camera gear behind me, like review units behind me. That's all stuff I have to get to. Thank you, Terry. Cheers. And then school's starting up soon, so that's going to start eating up more of my time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I really honestly want to start making more videos on this channel. I feel like MCU Exchange, the website is great. It's just hard to get. I feel like I'm just easily discouraged by larger channels like Emergency Awesome. And I just try to think about what I would bring differently to the table. So it's like, but if I have like an interesting MCU video idea, then I'll totally jump on a video to make on it. Totally jump on a chance to make a video on it. Yeah. But anyway, back to Phase 4 stuff. What are your guys' thoughts on Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel? Personally, these lives and interactions with the fans are the best part of the channel. Yeah, I like discussions too. That's the best part. What do you think is the next big crossover in the MCU, Phase 4, 5, and 6? Honestly, I think their next big bad is going to be Galactus. We've got Fantastic Four now in the mix. And Thanos is done pretty much, which is I'm sad. I'm sad to see Thanos go. He was such a great villain. But anyway, I think Galactus is going to be the big bad. Maybe not a Phase 6 per se, but probably like Phase 5. I don't think it's going to take them as long anymore to build up to big events. Depends on how they want to go about it. But I think by the end of Phase 5, we'll have like some Galactus level threat. You mix in basically an Avengers Fantastic Four crossover. So throw Silver Surfer in there. They all go at it for Galactus. And then they can kind of start building up probably towards Secret Wars. I'm sure they want to do it. Thanks, Terry. I really appreciate that. I'm most excited for She-Hulk, and I hope we get a younger actress to play her. Yeah, I mean, it would ideally be someone in like their 20s if you want them to stick around. Maybe not someone as baby-facey as Tom Holland, but I think you definitely want someone that's like young on the younger side. I'm very excited for Fantastic Four. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do that. But I'm like, please, I keep hearing that Peyton Reed is trying to get in there and direct it. It's like, please let someone else do it. Please don't let me Peyton Reed. No disrespect to him, or I don't hate his films. I just think there could be someone so much more better for a project like that. Could be Doctor Doom too. I think Doctor Doom is going to kind of be the new Loki. So he won't always be the big bad, but he'll kind of be that like anti-hero, more on the anti side of things. New shows look awesome. Hope the series have the same quality as the movies. Yeah, they look fire. If I'm honest, I'm not excited for the Eternals. I think it's going to surprise people. Everybody said the same thing about Guardians, and look what happened. I think they have a phenomenal cast. I'm not really familiar with the director, but I hope she can pull through because letting a cast like that go to waste is just going to be just a disgrace. What would happen if the MCU Fantastic Four sucks? I don't think it will. That's Marvel's first family. They are going to do it right because they've done it right before. It's my worst nightmare. Do you think they should do Secret Invasion before Secret Wars since the Kree Scrolls are already established? Me personally, I'm just not interested in the Secret Invasion story. I feel like that's a toss away for me. I don't know. I'm just not personally that compelled by a Secret Invasion story. I'm being much more interested to see how they do Secret Wars. I'd like to see Brad Bird direct Fantastic Four. He did do The Incredibles. Yeah, I think he's good with the campy stuff, especially if they do well, I haven't heard rumors, but I've heard basically completely unsubstantial rumors about them maybe doing the Fantastic Four in a different time period, like the 60s or something. I think that would be right up Brad Bird's alley. I think they could do a lot with that, especially giving him a bit more to play with in terms of not having to make everything so G-rated, That'd be interesting. Namor for Black Panther 2. That's what I keep hearing. That's what everyone is saying. I think that's what's likely going to happen. Putting up casting calls and all that stuff. The hints in Avengers Endgame. I think it'll happen. I think that's what's more than likely going to happen. I just hope we get a much bigger focus on T'Challa in this film because I still don't feel like I know him, I'd like to see Brad Bird direct Fantastic Four. I already read that. 60s Brad Bird Fantastic Four would be too similar to The Incredibles. Yes, it really would, but I don't mind if it's good, to be honest. The Rock versus Chadwick Boseman. If The Rock plays Namor, then I have nothing to say. I like the idea about having the Fantastic Four in the 60s, but when they're brought up to the current time and the general audience might think it's just a Captain America cash grab with 4 others now. That's a fair point, but it's like when you have this massive universe and everyone in the world knows who superheroes are, you can't just have this superhuman powered group is just here in present day this whole time and nobody knew. So it's like you kind of got to do it some way, somehow. So it's like either this is going to be they're going to just do another origin story, or they're going to have to throw them in a different dimension or universe. Maybe the Fantastic Four will come from another universe, from the multiverse. How would you introduce Fantastic Four? I don't know if you're asking me personally how I would do it, but I'd probably just do multiverse. It's been established in Far From Home, so I think that's just an easy way to do it. It's kind of tricky. It's really tricky. Either that or just establish the group, have their origin story just be in present day. One of those two. That's just me though. So we're probably gonna wrap up in about 6 minutes. So I'm gonna have this be one of the shorter ones. Get your questions or comments in. Fantastic Four, we're stuck in the quantum realm / negative zone. Yeah, that would be uber convenient, but as long as we can just brush past that part and get to the meat and potatoes, it's all good. They are from the 60s and they get trapped in when they got their powers. Huh. Yeah, that would make sense. Who would I cast? I think I've said this before. I think for Johnny Storm, I think I picked Aaron Taylor Johnson. I have no problem with that recasting. I think for Mr. Fantastic, John Krasinski, that would work, but I don't know, he's just not that nerdy to me. The Rock, that could be anyone, literally. It could be The Rock playing, or not The Rock, The Thing. It could be The Rock playing The Thing. And then Sue Storm, I don't know. Maybe give Jennifer Lawrence a shot at it. I think she could do decent. She just has to have good chemistry with whoever she's on screen with. No, please, The Rock would suck as Ben. Yeah, no, that'd be trash. Aaron Taylor Johnson has been on record saying he doesn't want to be in a multi-franchise movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson isn't even in that many movies, so I think he should. I think he needs to try to get his star power up. And could have got him the Batman role if he did have a bit more. Honestly, how would you feel about Loanne Gruffwood? Let me Google these. Oh, the originals. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought he was solid. I wouldn't mind seeing him come back. Would be hilarious though. I would say he should have been Korg, but Taika was no. Taika is Korg all day. I don't want Korg to ever be recast ever. It has to be Taika Waititi and only Taika Waititi. I would pay the $7 a month alone for a Korg and Meek TV show. Do you think the Spidey debacle has accelerated the mutant MCU? I don't know. I'm sure they have plan A, B, and C's, but I don't think so. I think they're going to take their time with the mutants. Give it a breather. We just had Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix was like 3 months ago. Have you watched the last Fantastic Four movie? I'm afraid to watch it. Is it really that bad? It's really forgettable. Yes, it's not very good at all. You don't walk out of it feeling like you want a sequel. Maybe another Cronin. That would be cool if Korg had basically like a rival. That would be pretty funny. A Korg Fortnite Let's Play channel on Disney. That would be just a blessing to the universe. Do you think that Crisis on Infinite Earths is DC's attempt to replicate Avengers Endgame on the small screen? Kind of, yeah. They kind of. I mean, the CW shows kind of have like their own little MCU type thing going. To be honest, it really is just like a TV version of the MCU. So yeah, you could probably say that. I'm sure they wouldn't have been as tempted to do it if it weren't for the MCU success. Would Disney be able to use Spidey on Disney Plus in any way? No, they would not. Not in any way. CW is trash. Yeah, I don't like the shows. I think they're really cheesy. And, they've got a TV budget, so everything looks bad. I just watched Dark Phoenix last night. I liked it. I think people didn't go watch it because the franchise was dead on arrival. I got to see Dark Phoenix. I think it was the day before, or a few days before I saw Far From Home early. I think there were definitely good parts of it, but I'm going to be completely honest. I was knocked out in that theater after like an hour and a half. I was just dead asleep. And I usually don't do that for movies. So there you go. I think I was awake just about until the point where it fell apart. Do you think that new Asgard will be a part of Love and Thunder, or will it all be in space? Yeah, of course it will be, because the Queen of Asgard, Valkyrie, is going to be in the movie. So yeah, for me, X-Men finale was Days of Future Past. As far as the group side of things, yes, 100% agree. But as far as generally speaking, it was Logan. What side characters do you want to appear in Blade? Moon Knight, content, Man-Thing, horror type characters. I think Moon Knight would be a good fit, but I know nothing about this Blade yet, so I can't really talk about who I want to see in the Blade movie, because we don't know what we're getting really necessarily. I love the train sequence from Dark Phoenix, all the teaming up, using their powers, not holding back. Yeah, it was a decent scene. I'm sure that was the scene where they probably spent close to the most amount of money. Epilogue was Logan. Yes, that's the perfect way to describe it. It was the epilogue. Because X-Men Apocalypse was, I'm not even going to say anything. Any mutant you want to see that has been on the silver screen, Silver Surfer. I want to see him in a Thor movie. I'm not sure if they're going to make another trilogy with Thor, but throw him in a Thor movie. Yeah. What about Werewolf by Night for Blade or Moon Knight? I think that should be a Moon Knight thing. It's more fitting. Dark Phoenix was awful. I mean, it wasn't good. They can't use Morbius, sadly, because it's Spider-Man related. Yeah, no, they can't, especially when a Morbius movie is already out. Use Morbius. Oh, well. Yeah, no, they can't even still. Yeah, I don't think so. No, but it's weird because like, the MCU is about to use Kraven, the Hunter. That's a Sony. That's a part of Sony's IP. Sony can use that character. So like, I don't get it. What's like the back and forth? Maybe it's like if I use it first, then that means you can't. I don't know how it works. But yeah, we are just about done with this live stream. Probably not going to be another live stream next week because that's going to be a busy week for I. There's the Apple event coming up, and I have to prep for that. Well, they never confirmed whether it was a movie or a TV show. Yeah, they never confirmed that. Anyway, so make sure to follow MCU Exchange on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up. Think Fantastic Four. I don't know, but we'll save that for another time. I have to wrap this up. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the compliments and birthday wishes and all that fun stuff. There will likely not be a live stream next week, but maybe if I can squeeze one in, then we'll do it. But it will be on a Sunday if I do it, because that's usually like my least busy day. But yeah, make sure to subscribe, follow us on Twitter, and just keep up with the site if you want to know what's happening with Spider-Man or the Disney deal and all that good stuff. Yep, getting ready for school. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. See ya.